The winter sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Gabriel Cooper's penthouse apartment, catching dust motes that danced in the air. The place looked like something from a luxury magazine, all clean lines, modern art, and expensive furniture. But the perfect image broke the moment 6-year-old Lily Cooper ran through the living room, screaming at the top of her lungs, her twin brother Leo close behind, wielding a toy dinosaur like a weapon. "Mr. Cooper, I simply cannot continue under these conditions," said Ms. Rivera, her normally neat bun now coming undone, a sticky substance that might have been jam smeared across her expensive blouse. "That's the third time this week they've deliberately ruined my clothes. I'm afraid I must give my notice." Gabriel Cooper, tech genius and self-made millionaire at 35, looked like he hadn't slept in days. The dark circles under his eyes matched the dark blue of his wrinkled dress shirt. He ran his hand through his already messy brown hair and sighed. "Please, Ms. Rivera, just give it another week. They're still adjusting." "It's been 4 months since Mrs. Cooper passed away. Mr. Cooper, I understand grief, but these children need boundaries. I've tried everything in my 20 years of childcare experience." Ms. Rivera picked up her designer bag. "You've gone through 5 nannies before me. Perhaps the problem isn't the nannies." The words hit Gabriel like a physical blow. He knew. She meant that the problem was him, his inability to set rules, his long work hours, his own unprocessed grief that the twins surely sensed. "I'll have your final check sent over tomorrow," he said quietly. After Ms. Rivera left, Gabriel stood alone in his beautiful, empty-feeling apartment. From somewhere down the hall came the sound of muffled giggles. His children were celebrating their victory. Another nanny gone. Gabriel walked to his home office and shut the door. His company needed him. Hundreds of employees depended on him making the right decisions. But at home, he was failing the 2 people who mattered most. He picked up a photo from his desk. Himself, his late wife Zoe, and the twins on a beach in Hawaii just a year ago. Zoe's smile was radiant, her dark curls blowing in the wind. Back when cancer was just a scary word that happened to other people, not something that would steal her away in just 6 cruel months. "I don't know how to do this without you," he whispered to the photo. His phone buzzed, his mother again, probably calling to suggest, for the 100th time, that the twins should come live with her in Connecticut. Gabriel let it go to voicemail. He couldn't bear another conversation about his unhealthy attachment to the penthouse Zoe had designed, or how the city was no place to raise children. Through the door, he heard a crash followed by silence, the kind of silence that parents knew meant real trouble. "Lily." "Leo." Gabriel hurried from his office to find the twins standing in the kitchen amid the ruins of what had been a crystal fruit bowl, Zoe's favorite. Bright red apples rolled across the Italian marble floor, and glittering shards of crystal spread in all directions. "Don't move," Gabriel said, his voice sharp with fear rather than anger. "There's glass everywhere." Lily's lower lip trembled. "We were hungry." Leo stared at his feet. "We couldn't reach." Gabriel carefully made his way to them, lifted each child away from the glass, and set them safely on the breakfast bar stools. "Why didn't you ask Ms.?" He stopped, remembering. "Why didn't you ask me?" "You were working," Leo said. "You're always working," Lily added. The simple truth of it made Gabriel's chest ache. He'd thrown himself into his company after Zoe died. Partly from necessity, the business wouldn't run itself, but mostly to escape the emptiness of life without her. "I'm sorry," he said, meaning it more deeply than his children could understand. "Let me clean this up and then we'll make some lunch together, okay?" As he swept up the broken crystal, each piece felt like a tiny part of Zoe disappearing. The bowl had been a wedding gift. Now it was gone, like so many other things. That evening, after a dinner of somewhat burnt grilled cheese sandwiches, cooking had been Zoe's territory, Gabriel called his assistant. "Lisa, I need you to find me another nanny, the best in the city." "Money is no object." "Mr. Cooper," Lisa said gently, "we've already been through the top 6 agencies in New York. The twins have quite a reputation now." Gabriel pinched the bridge of his nose. Then try the 7th agency, or the 70th. Just find someone. After hanging up, Gabriel checked on the twins. They'd fallen asleep together in Lily's bed, surrounded by books and stuffed animals. In sleep, their faces lost the mischievous, sometimes angry expressions they wore while awake. They looked peaceful, and so much like their mother that it hurt to look at them. The next morning, Gabriel canceled his meetings and took the twins to the park. It was a crisp autumn day, the kind Zoe had loved. The twins ran ahead, their matching blue jackets bright against the red and gold leaves. "Mr. Cooper?" Gabriel turned to see Rosa, his housekeeper, bundled in a sensible coat. She usually came on Tuesdays and Fridays, but with the mess the twins were making daily, he'd asked her to come more often. "Rosa, thank you for coming on such short notice." Rosa smiled, the lines around her eyes deepening. "I saw Ms. Rivera leaving yesterday. Another one gone?" Gabriel nodded, watching the twins climb on a jungle gym. "I don't know what to do, Rosa. They won't let anyone close to them." Rosa sat beside him on the bench. Children who are hurting sometimes push away the people they need most. They miss their mother. I miss her too. Gabriel rarely spoke about his grief to anyone, but Rosa had known Zoe, had been with the family since the twins were born. "My niece," Rosa said after a moment. She worked as a pediatric nurse for 5 years. Very good with difficult children. Now she is studying for her master's degree, looking for work with flexible hours. Gabriel looked at her skeptically. "No offense, Rosa, but we've tried professionals with decades of experience." "Sometimes experience isn't what's needed," Rosa said, watching the twins. "Sometimes it's understanding. Amara, my niece, she lost her father when she was 7. She knows what it's like to be a child with a hole in their heart." Gabriel considered this. "She's not a professional nanny?" "No, but she knows children, she knows loss, and she needs work while she finishes school." Rosa hesitated. "She is different from the others you've hired, not just in experience." "Different how?" "She is like me, from my side of the family." Rosa met his eyes. "Black American, not Puerto Rican like my husband's side. Will this be a problem?" Gabriel frowned. "Of course not. Why would that be a problem?" Rosa shrugged. "Some of your circle, they have certain expectations about who should care for their children. I just want someone who can connect with the twins," Gabriel said. "Someone they won't drive away within a week. I don't care about anything else." A shriek from the playground made them both turn. Leo was sitting in the dirt crying while Lily stood over him, her face a storm cloud of emotions. "He said Mom isn't coming back ever," Lily shouted as Gabriel approached. "He's lying." Gabriel felt his heart break all over again. He'd explained about death, about heaven, about how Mom was watching over them. But the twins were 6. The permanence of death was still something their minds couldn't fully grasp, or refuse to. He knelt between them, hugging them both, despite Lily's attempts to squirm away. "Your brother isn't lying, sweetheart," he said softly. "But Mom is still with us in our hearts and memories. She loved you both so much." "If she loved us, she wouldn't have left," Leo said, his voice small. Gabriel had no answer for that. Sometimes, in his darkest moments, he thought the same thing. That night, after the twins were asleep, Gabriel called Rosa. "Does your niece have a resume?" he asked without preamble. 2 days later, Amara Johnson arrived at the Cooper penthouse for an interview. She was younger than Gabriel had expected, maybe in her late 20s, with close-cropped natural hair and a quiet confidence that showed in her straight posture and direct gaze. "Thank you for considering me, Mr. Cooper," she said, her voice warm but professional. "Rosa has told me a lot about your family." "I'm sure she's told you about the twins' reputation as well," Gabriel said, gesturing for her to sit on one of the living room's white sofas. Amara smiled slightly. "She mentioned they've been through some nannies." 6 and 4 months, Gabriel admitted. "They're not bad kids, they're just Grieving, Amara finished for him. And finding their power, in the only way they can right now, by controlling who stays and who goes. Gabriel blinked, surprised by her insight. Yes, exactly. As they talked, Gabriel learned that Amara had worked in the pediatric oncology ward at Memorial Sloan Kettering, the same hospital where Zoe had been treated. She might have even crossed paths with Zoe during her illness, though neither could remember for certain. Why leave nursing? Gabriel asked. I loved helping the children, but I couldn't save them all, Amara said simply. I'm getting my master's in child psychology now. I want to help kids heal from the inside out. Before Gabriel could ask another question, a loud thump came from the direction of the twins' playroom, followed by suspicious silence. Would you like to meet them? Gabriel asked, standing. Amara smiled. I would, but first you should know that I can only commit to this position for 8 months until I begin my internship next summer. Gabriel hesitated. The twins needed stability, not another person who would leave them. As if reading his mind, Amara added, 8 months of consistency is better than another 6 nannies who last a week each. And I believe in being honest from the start, with you and with the children. Something about her straightforward approach made Gabriel trust her. Let's see if they even let you stay a week first. They walked to the playroom together, where the twins had built a fort out of couch cushions, blankets, and what appeared to be the contents of Gabriel's linen closet. Lily, Leo, Gabriel called. There's someone I'd like you to meet. 2 small faces peeked out from the fort, identical in their suspicion. This is Ms. Johnson. She might be your new nanny. Hello, Amara said, crouching down to their level but not approaching the fort. That's quite an impressive structure you've built. The twins said nothing, just stared. Is it a castle? Amara asked. Or maybe a secret hideout? It's a hospital, Leo said suddenly. Gabriel felt his stomach drop. Even in play, they couldn't escape the shadow of their mother's illness. But Amara didn't flinch. A hospital needs doctors and nurses, she said. I used to be a nurse. Would you like me to show you how we wrap bandages? A small spark of interest showed in Lily's eyes. For real? For real, Amara confirmed. I've wrapped hundreds of bandages. Leo crawled out of the fort first. Can you make a cast? Jenny at school has a cast on her arm. Everyone signed it. I can make something like a cast using the right materials, Amara said. She glanced at Gabriel. If your dad doesn't mind us getting a little messy. Gabriel felt something he hadn't felt in months, a tiny flicker of hope. Mess away, he said, as he watched Amara teaching the twins how to make plaster bandages using supplies from a first aid kit. Gabriel thought that maybe, just maybe, the 7th nanny would be different. On Amara's first official day as the Cooper twins' nanny, she arrived at exactly 7:30 in the morning, dressed in simple jeans and a soft blue sweater. The luxury of the penthouse didn't intimidate her. She'd spent years in hospital rooms that cost thousands per night, places where money meant nothing in the face of illness. Gabriel met her at the door, his tie askew and dark circles under his eyes. They've been up since 5, he said without preamble. Leo put toothpaste in my coffee. Amara simply nodded. Where are they now? Kitchen. I tried to make them breakfast, but he gestured vaguely toward the hallway, and Amara caught the distinct smell of something burnt. In the sleek modern kitchen, the twins sat at the island, picking at blackened toast. They looked up when Amara entered, their expressions guarded, but curious. Good morning, Amara said cheerfully. Mind if I join you? Leo shrugged. Lily stared at her cereal. Amara sat down beside them, noticing how they tensed slightly. The previous nannies had probably started with rules and schedules on their first day. Instead, Amara took a piece of the burnt toast and bit into it. Crunchy, she said, keeping her face neutral despite the bitter taste. A tiny smile flickered across Leo's face and disappeared. Gabriel hovered in the doorway, checking his watch. I have a board meeting at 8:30. We'll be fine, Amara assured him. After he left, silence fell in the kitchen. Amara could feel the twins watching her, waiting to see what she would do. Their previous nannies had likely filled this silence, with forced cheerfulness or immediate attempts at authority. Amara did neither. She finished her burnt toast, then said, "I don't know my way around this kitchen yet. Could you show me where things are so I can make us some real breakfast?" Slowly, warily, the twins slid off their stools. Leo pointed to a cabinet. "Pancake mix is up there, but Dad never gets it right." "I'm pretty good at pancakes," Amara said. "Want to help me?" To her surprise, they did. Leo carefully measured flour while Lily cracked eggs, making a mess but beaming with pride when Amara praised her effort instead of scolding her for the drips on the counter. As they ate their slightly lopsided but delicious pancakes, Amara asked, "What do you usually do after breakfast?" "Whatever we want," Lily said with a challenging look. "Nobody can make us do anything." "That sounds nice," Amara said mildly. "What do you want to do today?" The twins exchanged confused glances, clearly thrown by her lack of imposed structure. "Watch TV," Leo tested. "All day," Lily added. Amara said thoughtfully. "That does sound easy, though I was hoping to check out that park I saw down the street. I heard it has the best climbing structure in the city, but TV is fine too." 20 minutes later, the twins were putting on their jackets, TV forgotten. At the park, Amara sat on a bench and simply watched as the twins played. They kept glancing back at her, as if expecting her to start barking orders or rushing them along. When she just smiled and waved, they gradually relaxed, playing with more freedom and joy than they had shown in months. A woman with a designer stroller sat down beside Amara. "Which ones are yours?" she asked, gesturing to the playground. "The twins in blue jackets," Amara replied. "I'm their nanny." The woman's smile cooled slightly. "Oh, you're new? I know all the nannies in this neighborhood." "Just started," Amara said pleasantly, used to this subtle shift that happened when people realized she wasn't a parent. "Those are the Cooper twins, aren't they?" The woman lowered her voice. "I heard they're quite the handful since their mother died. Poor things. My son goes to their school, they've become so withdrawn. And that father always working." Amara felt a surge of protectiveness. "They're wonderful children who are processing a profound loss," she said firmly, "and Mr. Cooper is doing his best." The woman looked taken aback. "Of course I didn't mean—" "Amara, watch this," Leo called from the top of the climbing structure, momentarily forgetting his usual wariness. "I'm watching," Amara called back, turning away from the woman. "Show me." That afternoon, while the twins napped, exhausted from actually playing instead of plotting against their caretaker, Amara explored the apartment, not snooping exactly, but trying to understand the family better. The penthouse was beautiful but felt impersonal, like a model home. The only exception was a hallway lined with family photos. Gabriel and a stunning woman with wild curly hair and a brilliant smile, the twins as babies, as toddlers, as preschoolers, family beach trips and Christmas mornings. The last photo showed all four of them at what looked like a botanical garden, the woman noticeably thinner, but still smiling. That was 6 months before she died. Amara turned to find Gabriel standing behind her, home earlier than expected. "I'm sorry," she said. "I wasn't prying." "It's fine." Her name was Zoe. Gabriel's voice softened on his late wife's name. "She designed this place, but she always said it wasn't finished. She never got to finish it." Amara nodded, understanding the deeper meaning. Zoe hadn't gotten to finish raising her children either, the cow. "Twins are napping," she said. "They played hard at the park." "They went to the park?" Gabriel looked surprised. "Willingly. They needed to burn off some energy," Amara said. "Children always do." A small smile crossed Gabriel's face. "You got them to nap too?" Ms. Rivera said they refused to nap for her. "I didn't make them," Amara explained. "I just mentioned I was feeling tired after the park and might rest on the couch. They insisted they weren't tired at all, but said they'd keep me company. Next thing I knew..." She mimicked snoring. Gabriel laughed, a rusty sound as if he hadn't used it in a while. The twins woke up an hour later, crankier than before their nap, as children often are. They came into the living room to find Amara and Gabriel talking quietly. "Dad?" Leo rubbed his eyes. "You're home early." "Meeting ended sooner than expected?" Gabriel said, though the truth was he'd been distracted throughout, wondering how the new nanny was faring. "Are you hungry?" Amara asked the twins. "I was thinking we could make dinner together." Lily frowned. "That's Rosa's job." "Rosa's not coming today," Gabriel reminded her. "And I thought it might be fun to cook as a family." "You can't cook," Leo said bluntly. "True," Gabriel admitted, "but Amara can, and we can all learn together." Making dinner turned into a messy, flour-covered affair that somehow resulted in a decent pasta bake. The twins were cautiously engaged, still testing Amara but gradually letting down their guard when she didn't react to their small provocations. After dinner, during bath time, Amara discovered the twins had been avoiding baths because bath time had been their special time with their mother. Zoe had made up elaborate stories about mermaids and sea creatures while washing their hair. "Would you like to tell me one of your mom's stories?" Amara asked gently as she helped Leo rinse shampoo from his hair. "You're not Mom," Lily said from her side of the large tub, tears welling in her eyes. "No, I'm not," Amara agreed. "And I won't try to be, but I'd love to hear about her, about what made her special to you." Hesitantly, Leo began to recount a tale about a mermaid who helped lost fish find their way home. Lily joined in, correcting details her brother got wrong. By the end, they were both smiling through their tears, and Amara felt a tiny crack had formed in the wall they'd built around themselves. The next morning set the pattern for the days that followed. Amara didn't try to replicate what the previous nannies had done or what Zoe had done. Instead, she created her own rhythm with the twins, one that acknowledged their grief while gently guiding them back toward joy. A week passed without major incident, then 2. Gabriel began to relax slightly, though he still waited for the inevitable call telling him the twins had finally gone too far and Amara was quitting. The call came on a Wednesday afternoon, 3 weeks after Amara started. "Mr. Cooper, this is Amara." Her voice sounded tight, controlled. "There's been an incident." Gabriel's heart sank. "What happened?" "The bathroom, it's..." Amara paused. "You should come home." Gabriel made record time getting back to the penthouse, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Had the twins finally crossed a line? Had someone been hurt? When he arrived, the apartment was eerily quiet. He followed the sound of running water to the main bathroom and froze in the doorway. Water was everywhere, pooled on the marble floor, dripping from the ceiling, soaking the fancy towels. In the middle of it all stood Amara and the twins, completely drenched and laughing. "What happened?" Gabriel asked, bewildered. Lily looked guilty. "We tried to make a swimming pool. We put towels against the door and filled the tub all the way to the top," Leo explained. "But then it spilled. I came in to check on them and got a tidal wave," Amara added, wringing water from her shirt. "They thought I'd be mad and quit, but..." "She wasn't," Lily said, sounding amazed. "She said if we wanted to swim, we should have told her, and she knows a real pool we can go to." "After we clean this up," Amara added firmly. Gabriel looked around at the chaos, then at his children's faces, truly happy for the first time in months. "You're not quitting?" Amara raised an eyebrow. "Over a little water? Hardly. Though we might need a plumber to check for leaks downstairs." Gabriel started to laugh, the tension of waiting for the other shoe to drop finally breaking. Soon all 4 of them were laughing as they mopped up water with every towel in the apartment. Later, after the twins were asleep, Gabriel found Amara in the kitchen making a cup of tea. "Thank you," he said simply, "for not leaving." Amara smiled. "They were testing me, seeing if I'd abandon them like they feel their mother did." She held up a hand when Gabriel started to protest. "I know she didn't choose to leave. But to them, all they know is the person they loved most is gone. They're scared to love anyone else." "Even me sometimes, I think," Gabriel said quietly. "They're afraid you'll leave too," Amara agreed. "That's why they act out when you're working. They're trying to keep you close the only way they know how. Gabriel stared into his own mug of tea, letting her words sink in. How do you understand them so well after just 3 weeks? Because I was them once, Amara said. When my father died, I was convinced everyone else would leave too. I tested every relationship to the breaking point. What changed? Amara's expression softened with memory. My uncle. He never took my behavior personally, he just kept showing up day after day until I finally believed he wasn't going anywhere. She met Gabriel's eyes. That's what your twins need. People who keep showing up no matter what. People like you, Gabriel said. And you, Amara reminded him gently. Especially you. As Amara left for the night, Gabriel felt something shift inside him, a tiny seed of hope taking root. For the first time since Zoe died, he felt like maybe, just maybe, his broken little family might find a way forward. 2 months into Amara's time with the Cooper family, autumn had fully given way to winter. The city streets gleamed with strings of holiday lights, and the first real snowfall had turned the view from the penthouse windows into a scene from a snow globe. The twins' school was hosting its annual winter showcase, an event where each class performed a short piece for the parents. Gabriel had missed last year's showcase. He'd been in the middle of a major acquisition and had sent his assistant Lisa with a video camera instead. The twins had never mentioned it, but Amara had found the unwatched video file on Gabriel's laptop while helping the twins with their homework. Are you nervous about your performance tomorrow? Amara asked as she helped Lily practice her lines for the showcase after school. Lily shrugged, twirling a pencil between her fingers. Dad probably won't come anyway. He said he would. Leo chimed in from where he was building a complicated Lego structure on the floor. He said that last time too, Lily muttered. Amara kept her face neutral, though her heart ached for them. Your dad has a very important job. More important than us? Lily said, the hurt plain in her young voice. Later that evening, after the twins were asleep, Amara found Gabriel in his home office surrounded by holographic displays of data and spreadsheets. He looked up when she knocked on the open door. Everything okay? He asked. I wanted to remind you about the winter showcase tomorrow, Amara said. It starts at 1 o'clock. Gabriel's face fell. Tomorrow? I thought it was next week. He gestured at the displays floating around him. We're in the final stages of this merger. I have calls scheduled all afternoon with our team in Tokyo. I see, Amara said, disappointment evident despite her effort to hide it. The twins will understand. Gabriel frowned, detecting something in her tone. What aren't you saying, Amara? She hesitated, then decided honesty was needed. They already don't expect you to come. Lily said as much today. That's not fair, Gabriel protested. I'm working to secure their future. I know that, Amara said gently. But they're 6. All they understand is that their mother is gone, and their father is rarely present. They're learning that the people they love don't show up for the moments that matter to them. The words hung in the air between them. Gabriel looked away first, his gaze falling on a photo of Zoe on his desk. I'll move the calls, he said finally. Tokyo can wait. The next day, Amara helped the twins get ready for their performance. Leo wore a tiny suit that made him look like a miniature businessman, while Lily twirled in a silver dress that sparkled when she moved. You both look amazing, Amara told them as she fixed Leo's crooked tie. Will Dad really come? Leo asked, his voice small with hope and fear. He promised, Amara reminded him, though she wasn't entirely sure herself. When they arrived at the elite private school, the auditorium was already filling with parents in expensive clothes, most accompanied by nannies or household staff. Amara helped the twins find their class and then found seats in the second row, saving one for Gabriel. As the minutes ticked by and the seat remained empty, Amara felt her own anxiety growing. The lights dimmed, and the principal walked onto the stage to begin the program. Still no Gabriel. Just as the first class was filing onto the stage, Amara felt someone slide into the seat beside her. Gabriel, slightly out of breath, his tie askew. Did I miss them? he whispered. Relief washed over her. No, they're up fourth. When the twins' class took the stage for their short play about winter animals, Gabriel leaned forward in his seat, eyes fixed on his children. Lily spotted him immediately, her face lighting up with surprise and joy. She delivered her lines perfectly, and Leo, who had been nervous about speaking in public, stood tall and spoke clearly when his turn came. Afterward, in the hallway crowded, with proud parents and sugar-hyped children, the twins ran to Gabriel, both talking at once about their performance. "Did you see when I was the snow owl?" Lily asked, bouncing on her toes. "I remembered all my lines," Leo said proudly, "even the hard ones." "You were both incredible," Gabriel told them, crouching down to their level. "I wouldn't have missed it for anything." Amara stood back, watching the family moment with a smile, when she noticed a woman approaching. Tall, blonde, and dressed in the kind of casual luxury that actually cost a fortune. Gabriel's mother, Eleanor Cooper. Amara recognized her from photos in the penthouse. "There are my precious grandchildren," Eleanor cooed, swooping in to kiss the twins, who accepted her affection with less enthusiasm than they'd shown their father. Eleanor straightened and turned to Gabriel. "Darling, you look exhausted. This city lifestyle is wearing you down." Her gaze shifted to Amara, eyes narrowing slightly. "And you must be the new nanny Rosa recommended." "Amara Johnson," Amara said, extending her hand. "It's nice to meet you." "Mrs. Cooper." Eleanor shook her hand briefly. "Eleanor, please, I've heard so much about you from the twins during our weekly calls." Her tone was pleasant enough, but Amara could detect the evaluation taking place behind her smile. "Grandmother, did you see me on stage?" Lily asked, tugging at Eleanor's cashmere sweater. "Of course, darling. You were divine." Eleanor patted Lily's head, then turned back to Gabriel. "I was thinking, why don't I take the twins back to Connecticut for the weekend? The Christmas decorations are up at the house, and my housekeeper made those gingerbread cookies they love." Before Gabriel could answer, a commotion erupted from a classroom down the hall. A child was gasping for breath, his face turning alarmingly red. "He's having an allergic reaction," a teacher called out. "Does anyone have an EpiPen?" Without hesitation, Amara sprinted toward the situation, reaching into her bag as she ran. She always carried an emergency kit, a habit from her nursing days that she'd never broken. "I'm a trained nurse," she told the panicking teacher, kneeling beside the boy. "What's he allergic to?" "Peanuts," the teacher said. "Someone brought cookies, we didn't know." Amara checked the boy's medical alert bracelet to confirm, then administered the epinephrine injection with calm efficiency. "Call an ambulance," she instructed a nearby parent, "and keep him sitting upright." By the time the paramedics arrived, the boy's breathing had eased, though he still needed to go to the hospital for monitoring. As they wheeled him out, his grateful mother kept thanking Amara through tears. Gabriel, the twins, and Eleanor had watched the whole scene unfold. "That was awesome," Leo whispered as Amara rejoined them. "You saved him." "Just like you helped Mom when she was sick," Lily added. Amara gently corrected her. "I wasn't your mom's nurse, sweetheart. I worked in a different part of the hospital." "But you help people," Lily insisted, "like you help us." On the ride home, Eleanor insisted on joining them in the town car. The twins, tired from the excitement of the day, fell asleep leaning against Amara. "You handled that situation remarkably well," Eleanor said quietly. "Where did you train?" "Johns Hopkins," Amara replied. "I worked in pediatric oncology for 5 years before going back to school." Eleanor's eyebrows rose slightly. "Impressive credentials for a nanny." "I'm not just a nanny," Amara said evenly. "I'm pursuing my master's in child psychology. This position works with my class schedule." "I see." Eleanor studied her for a moment. "And what are your long-term plans? Surely not domestic work." "Mom," Gabriel warned. "It's a fair question," Eleanor said. "The twins have already experienced too much instability." "My commitment is through the end of the school year," Amara said. "I've been transparent about that from the beginning." And then what? Eleanor pressed. The children become attached and you move on to your real career? The car pulled up to the penthouse building before Amara could respond. As they rode the elevator up, the twins still drowsy, Eleanor continued her subtle interrogation, asking about Amara's family, her background, her experiences. In the penthouse, while Gabriel put the sleepy twins to bed, Eleanor cornered Amara in the kitchen. You seem like a lovely young woman, she said, her voice lowered, but I worry about the wisdom of having someone temporary in their lives right now. They need permanence, stability. With respect, Mrs. Cooper, Amara replied, keeping her voice equally low. What they need most is love and understanding while they process their grief. Something temporary and genuine is better than permanent and disconnected. Eleanor's eyes widened slightly at Amara's directness. You think my son is disconnected from his children? I think he's grieving too, Amara said. And sometimes it's easier to bury yourself in work than face the pain of loss. You're very outspoken for an employee, Eleanor observed. I'm very committed to those children, Amara countered, and to helping their father find his way back to them. Eleanor studied her for a long moment, then smiled slightly. Well, Rosa always did have good judgment about people. The next morning, Amara arrived to find Gabriel and his mother in the kitchen, mid-conversation. Just think they'd have more space, more freedom in Connecticut, Eleanor was saying. The schools are excellent, and I have that big house all to myself. Mom, we've been over this. Gabriel sighed. New York is our home. Zoe loved this city, loved this apartment. Zoe is gone, darling, Eleanor said gently. And you have to think about what's best for the children now. They're doing better, Gabriel insisted. Amara has been amazing with them. She's wonderful, Eleanor agreed, which is precisely my concern. What happens when she leaves? You can't build their stability around someone who's temporary. Gabriel looked up, noticing Amara in the doorway. Amara, good morning. How much of that did you hear? Enough, Amara admitted. And your mother raises a valid point. I will eventually move on to my internship. That's why it's so important that you and the twins strengthen your connection now, while I'm still here to help. Eleanor raised an eyebrow. See? Even she agrees with me. Not exactly, Amara clarified. I agree the twins need stability, but I think uprooting them from their home, their school, and their memories of their mother would cause more harm than good right now. Before Eleanor could respond, a crash from the twins' room sent all three adults hurrying down the hall. They found Leo on the floor, wheezing and clutching his chest, while Lily stood nearby, looking terrified. He can't breathe, Lily cried. Amara was at Leo's side instantly. Asthma attack, she said, recognizing the symptoms. Where's his inhaler? In the bathroom, Gabriel said, rushing to get it. Has this happened before? Amara asked, helping Leo sit up and coaching him through slow breaths. A few times since Zoe died, Eleanor answered. The doctor said it could be stress-related. Gabriel returned with the inhaler, and Amara helped Leo use it properly. Gradually, his breathing eased, color returning to his face. You're okay, buddy, Amara soothed, rubbing his back gently. Just keep taking slow breaths. Later, after Leo had rested and Eleanor had reluctantly left for her hotel, Amara found Gabriel staring out the window at the snowy city. He could have died, Gabriel said quietly. It wasn't that severe, Amara assured him. But we should schedule a checkup with his doctor. Gabriel turned to face her. My mother thinks I should send them to live with her. And what do you think? Gabriel ran a hand through his hair. I think I'm terrified of making the wrong choice. What if she's right? What if I'm not enough for them? You are their father, Amara said firmly. You're exactly what they need, not perfect, just present. Present, Gabriel repeated as if testing the word. I haven't been very good at that, have I? You showed up yesterday, Amara reminded him. That's a start. Gabriel looked at her with new awareness. Thank you, not just for today, but for everything these past months. You've done more than care for the twins. woken us all up somehow. Amara felt a warmth spread through her chest, along with a flutter of something she hadn't expected and couldn't afford to examine too closely. "It's my job," she said simply. "No," Gabriel shook his head. "It's far more than that. And we both know it." Spring came to the city in bursts of color and light. The twins celebrated their 7th birthday with a party in the park, their first real celebration since losing their mother. Gabriel had worried they wouldn't want a party, but Amara had gently pushed him to try. "Kids need milestones," she'd explained. "Ways to mark time passing and life continuing." The party was small but joyful. Leo and Lily invited a handful of classmates, friends they'd begun reconnecting with after months of pushing people away. Gabriel ordered a cake shaped like a science lab, complete with edible test tubes and microscopes, honoring their growing interest in experiments, a hobby Amara had cleverly introduced to channel their mischievous energy. As Gabriel watched Amara, helping the twins cut their cake, he realized how much had changed in 6 months. The dark cloud that had hung over their home had lifted. The twins smiled more, laughed more. They still had moments of sadness, still missed their mother fiercely. But they were learning to carry their grief rather than being crushed by it. And Gabriel was changing too. He'd cut back his work hours, delegated more to his leadership team, and made it home for dinner most nights. His assistant Lisa had been shocked when he'd blocked off every Wednesday afternoon for standing appointments. Actually, the twins' science club that Amara had encouraged them to join. "Make a wish," the children shouted as the twins prepared to blow out their candles. Lily squeezed her eyes shut tight. Leo glanced at Amara before closing his. Later, as they walked home from the park, the twins skipping ahead with their gift, bags, Gabriel asked Amara, "Do you know what they wished for?" Amara shook her head. "They didn't tell me, but Leo has been asking a lot of questions lately." "What kind of questions?" "About how long I'll be staying," Amara said quietly. "About what happens when I finish school." Gabriel felt a familiar tightness in his chest. "What did you tell him?" "The truth, that I'll be starting my internship at the Children's Hospital in the fall, that I care about them very much, but my position with your family was always temporary." They walked in silence for a moment. "You've become important to them," Gabriel finally said. "To all of us." Amara looked up at him, her expression unreadable. That was always the risk, wasn't it? Before Gabriel could respond, Lily came running back to them. "Dad, Leo says we can get a dog now that we're 7. Is that true?" The moment passed, slipping away like so many others had over the months. Moments when Gabriel had felt something shift between himself and Amara. Moments he'd chosen not to examine too closely. 2 weeks after the birthday party, Amara received a letter that changed everything. She was sitting at the kitchen island helping the twins with their math homework when her phone buzzed with an email notification. "Excuse me just a moment," she said, picking up her phone. As she read the email, her expression changed from curiosity to shock. "What's wrong?" Leo asked, noticing immediately. "Nothing's wrong," Amara assured him, though her voice sounded strange, even to her own ears. "I just got some unexpected news." Later that night, after the twins were asleep, Amara found Gabriel in his office. He'd been working from home more often, setting up in the living room when the twins were awake and retreating to his office only after they went to bed. "Do you have a minute?" she asked from the doorway. Gabriel looked up, setting aside his tablet. "Of course, everything okay?" Amara sat in the chair across from his desk, suddenly nervous. "I received an offer today from the Davidson Foundation." Gabriel's eyebrows rose. The Davidson Foundation was one of the most prestigious medical research foundations in the country. "That's incredible. What kind of offer?" "A full scholarship for my doctoral program, plus a stipend," Amara explained. "And a position at their new community health center after I graduate." "That's amazing, Amara. Congratulations." Gabriel's smile seemed genuine, but didn't quite reach his eyes. "The thing is," Amara continued, "the health center is in Atlanta. I'd need to transfer to Emory to finish my degree. They want me to start in 6 weeks." The words hung in the air between them. 6 weeks. Not the 3 months they had planned for. Not enough time to properly prepare the twins for another loss. See? Gabriel said, his voice carefully neutral. Have you decided to accept? Amara twisted her hands in her lap. It's an incredible opportunity, the kind that changes careers, changes lives. You deserve it, Gabriel said sincerely. After everything you've done for us, you deserve every good thing. But the twins will miss you terribly, Gabriel finished for her. As will I, but we always knew this was temporary. Amara searched his face. Is that all you have to say? Something flickered across Gabriel's features. A moment of openness quickly shut down. What else should I say? You should take the offer, Amara. It would be selfish of me to suggest otherwise. Amara stood, disappointed, though she couldn't exactly say why. You're right, I should take it. I'll give you my official notice tomorrow. As she turned to leave, Gabriel called after her. Amara, wait. She paused, heart beating faster. When will you tell the twins? He asked. The hope that had flared in her chest dimmed. I thought we could tell them together. After I figured out exactly when I'll be leaving. Gabriel nodded. Of course, whatever you think is best. The next morning, Amara was quieter than usual as she helped the twins get ready for school. They noticed immediately. These children who had become so attuned to the moods of the adults in their lives, who had learned to watch for signs of impending abandonment. Are you sick? Lily asked, studying Amara's face carefully. Just thinking about some grown-up stuff, Amara assured her, forcing a smile. Is it about your school? Leo asked. Dad said you have to leave soon for your doctor school. Amara glanced at Gabriel, who was pretending to read the news on his tablet but was clearly listening. Yes, it's about school, but nothing for you to worry about right now. Later that day, Amara took the twins to their weekly swimming lesson at the community center. As she watched them splash in the pool, so different from the fearful children who had tried to flood the bathroom months ago, she felt a deep ache in her chest. How could she leave them? And yet, how could she not accept an opportunity that would allow her to help so many other children? As the twins practiced floating on their backs, their instructor standing nearby, Amara checked her phone. A new email from the Davidson Foundation, asking for her response. Her finger hovered over it, but she couldn't bring herself to open it yet. Ms. Johnson? Amara looked up to see a woman in a tailored suit standing beside her. Yes? I'm Claire Davidson. I believe my foundation contacted you recently. Amara stood quickly, surprised. Mrs. Davidson, it's an honor to meet you. Claire Davidson was a legend in medical philanthropy, having established clinics in underserved communities across the country. She was also notoriously private, rarely making personal appearances. I was in the city for a board meeting and thought I'd stop by, Claire explained. My daughter takes swim lessons here too. She nodded toward a young girl about the twins, age in the pool. I wanted to speak with you personally about our offer. I'm honored, Amara said again, still shocked. I was planning to respond today. Before you do, Claire said, I should clarify something. While the position would eventually be in Atlanta, the first 2 years of your doctoral program could be completed here in New York. We have partnerships with several universities in the city. Amara's heart leapt. That wasn't mentioned in the offer letter. An oversight, Claire said. My apologies. She glanced at the twins in the pool. Those are your charges? Gabriel Cooper's children? Yes, Amara said, surprised again. Do you know Mr. Cooper? We've crossed paths in philanthropy circles, Claire said. His late wife was on one of our advisory boards. Brilliant woman. Amara nodded, a lump forming in her throat. Our foundation has been looking to expand our pediatric mental health services, Claire continued, particularly grief counseling for children. Your background and current experience make you an ideal candidate for that initiative. I'm very interested, Amara said, but I admit I've been struggling with the idea of leaving New York so soon. Claire gave her a knowing look. Because of them? She nodded toward the twins. They've been through so much, Amara said. I don't want to be one more person who disappears from their lives. I understand, Claire said. Take some time to consider the revised offer. We can be flexible on the timeline. As Claire walked away, Amara felt as if a weight had been lifted. She could accept the offer and still have time to properly prepare the twins, time to finish what she'd started with this family. That evening, she found Gabriel in the kitchen, attempting to make dinner. The twins were at a playdate, giving them a rare moment alone. Need some help? She asked, watching him struggle to follow a recipe on his tablet. Please, he said with a grateful smile. I'm trying to learn, but cooking is definitely not my strong suit. They worked side by side, preparing a simple pasta dish. The domesticity of it felt both strange and completely natural. I met Claire Davidson today, Amara said as she chopped vegetables, at the twins' swim lesson. Gabriel looked up from the pot he was stirring. Really? That's quite a coincidence. She said she knew Zoe, Amara continued, that she was on one of their advisory boards. Gabriel nodded, his expression softening at the mention of his late wife. Zoe was passionate about healthcare access. She did a lot of work with foundations like Davidson's. Claire told me I could complete the first 2 years of the program here in New York, Amara said carefully. It would mean a less disruptive transition. Gabriel set down his spoon. So you're accepting the offer? I think I should, Amara said, but I'd still be here, part-time at least for a while longer, if that works for you. Of course it works for me, Gabriel said quickly. For us. The twins will be thrilled. Amara studied his face. And you? Are you thrilled? Their eyes met, and for a moment the kitchen felt very small. I'm glad you're not leaving yet, Gabriel said softly. These past months, you've brought something back to this home that I thought was gone forever. What's that? Amara asked, her voice equally soft. Hope, Gabriel answered simply. A sense that life goes on, even after the worst happens. Amara felt tears prick at her eyes. That's what I've been trying to show the twins. You've shown all of us, Gabriel said. He reached out hesitantly, then let his hand fall. I should check on the pasta. The moment broke, but something had shifted. Amara felt it as they finished making dinner, as they set the table together as they waited for the twins to return home, a current of possibility running beneath the surface of their carefully maintained roles as employer and employee, as guardian and caretaker. When the twins burst through the door, full of stories about their playdate, they found Amara and their father laughing in the kitchen, surrounded by the warm smell of garlic and herbs, the apartment feeling more like a home than it had in a very long time. 3 years had passed since Amara Johnson first walked into the Cooper penthouse and faced 2 grieving children determined to drive her away. Now on a bright June morning, she stood in that same penthouse adjusting the collar of her dress and wondering at how life could change so completely. Need help with that necklace? Gabriel asked, coming up behind her. His reflection joined, hers in the bedroom mirror, his eyes warm as they met hers. Please, Amara said, handing him the delicate gold chain, a graduation gift he'd given her the week before when she'd completed her master's degree. As Gabriel fastened the clasp, his fingers brushed the nape of her neck. Even after a year together, as a couple, his touch still sent a small shiver down her spine. Nervous? He asked, his hands resting lightly on her shoulders. A little, Amara admitted. It's a big day. Huge, Gabriel agreed. The grand opening of your clinic and the twins' elementary school graduation on the same day. Talk about timing. Amara turned to face him. Do you think I'm crazy for trying to do both? I think you're amazing, Gabriel said simply. And I think we'll make it work, just like we've made everything else work. A crash from the kitchen interrupted them, followed by loud whispering and the sound of something being swept up. We didn't break anything, Leo called out unconvincingly. Gabriel and Amara exchanged knowing looks. I'll check on them, Gabriel said. You finish getting ready. Alone again, Amara took a deep breath. So much had changed, yet some things, like the twins' tendency to create chaos, remained comfortingly the same. The journey to this day had been anything but smooth. After accepting the Davidson Foundation's offer, Amara had shifted to part-time hours with the Cooper family while beginning her doctoral studies. She'd found a small apartment nearby, wanting to establish some professional boundaries even as she maintained her close relationship with the twins. Gabriel had hired a new nanny, a kind, grandmotherly woman named Mrs. Chen who didn't try to replace Amara, but instead created her own special bond with the children. The transition had been bumpy at times, with the twins testing Mrs. Chen just as they'd tested every adult who entered their lives. But Amara had helped them understand that her changing role didn't mean she was abandoning them. "I'm not leaving," she'd explained as they sat together in the twins' favorite spot, a blanket fort in the living room. "I'm just changing how I fit into your lives. I'll still see you several times a week." "But you won't live here anymore," Lily had said, tears welling in her eyes. "No, I'll have my own place. But that doesn't change how much I care about you." "Promise?" Leo had asked, his small face serious. "I promise," Amara had said, meaning it with her whole heart. What she hadn't anticipated was how her relationship with Gabriel would evolve once she was no longer his employee. Without the professional boundaries between them, they'd gradually acknowledge the feelings that had been growing for months. Their first date had been awkward, both hyper-aware of the complicated dynamics, the potential impact on the twins, the whispers their relationship might generate in Gabriel's social circles. But beneath the awkwardness had been a solid foundation of mutual respect and genuine connection. "When did you know?" Amara had asked him over dinner that night. "That you felt something beyond friendship?" Gabriel had considered the question, thoughtfully. "I think it was the day of Leo's asthma attack. Watching you care for him, seeing how naturally you fit into our family. I knew you were becoming essential to all of us. But I couldn't act on it while you worked for me. That wouldn't have been right." They'd taken things slowly, careful of the twins' feelings and aware of the potential complications. Gabriel's mother, Eleanor, had been predictably concerned when they finally told her about their relationship. "You hardly know each other," she'd protested during a tense dinner at her Connecticut home. "We've spent nearly every day together for over a year," Gabriel had countered. "I know her better than I've known anyone since Zoe." Eleanor had given Amara a long, evaluating look. "And your career? Will you abandon your studies to play mother to someone else's children?" "Mom," Gabriel had exclaimed. But Amara had calmly met Eleanor's gaze. "I'm finishing my degree and building my career," she'd said firmly. "And loving your grandchildren isn't playing at anything. It's one of the most real things I've ever done." Slowly, Eleanor had come around, won over partly by the obvious happiness of her son and grandchildren, and partly by Amara's unwavering integrity and commitment to both her career and the Cooper family. Now, as Amara finished getting ready for the day's events, she could hear the twins arguing about something in the kitchen, their voices carrying down the hallway. "I still think we should tell her now," Lily was saying. At 9 years old, she'd grown taller and more confident, though she still had moments of intense emotion that echoed her earlier grief. "Dad said to wait until after her speech," Leo countered. Always the more cautious twin, he'd developed a deep interest in rules and plans over the past few years. "Tell me what?" Amara asked, entering the kitchen to find the twins sitting at the island, a hastily cleaned-up spill still evident from the damp paper towels in the trash. The twins exchanged guilty looks. "Nothing," they said in unison, which Amara had learned long ago meant definitely something. Gabriel stepped in smoothly. "Just a surprise we've been planning. Nothing to worry about." Amara said, not entirely convinced but willing to let it go. "Are you two ready? We need to leave soon." The community health center that Amara had helped establish through the Davidson Foundation was located in a previously underserved neighborhood not far from where she'd grown up. The building had once been an abandoned community center, but now it gleamed with fresh paint and new windows, a playground visible behind it. As their car pulled up, Amara felt a surge of pride mixed with disbelief. 2 years of planning, fundraising, and hard work had led to this moment. Wow, Leo whispered, peering out the window. You built this, Amara? Not by myself, Amara said with a smile. It took a lot of people working together. But it was your idea, Lily pointed out. Your dream. One of my dreams, Amara corrected gently, squeezing Gabriel's hand. Inside, the center was already filling with people, community members, healthcare professionals, donors, and the families who would benefit from the services. Claire Davidson greeted them warmly, pulling Amara aside for a private word before the ceremony. You've exceeded every expectation, Claire told her. The mental health program for grieving children is particularly impressive. It's personal for me, Amara admitted. Watching the twins work through their grief showed me how much children need specialized support. Speaking of the twins, Claire said with a smile, they seem to have adjusted well to your changing role in their lives. Amara glanced across the room where Gabriel was helping the twins get cups of juice from the refreshment table. We've all adjusted. It hasn't always been easy, but it's been worth it. The opening ceremony began with speeches from local officials and Claire Davidson before Amara was called to the podium. As she stood looking out at the crowd, she caught sight of Rosa, her aunt who had first connected her with the Cooper family, sitting proudly in the front row. Even Eleanor Cooper was there, sitting beside her son and grandchildren, her expression one of grudging admiration. 3 years ago, Amara began, I was working as a nanny for a family in grief. I had put my medical career on hold, uncertain of my path forward. What I didn't realize then was that I wasn't taking a detour from my purpose. I was finding a new dimension to it. As she spoke about the center's mission to provide holistic health care to families, with a special focus on children's mental health, Amara saw Gabriel nod encouragingly. The twins listened with surprising attention, though Lily kept whispering something to Leo that made him elbow her to be quiet. After the ceremony, as people toured the facility, Gabriel pulled Amara into a quiet corner. You were brilliant, he said. Zoe would have loved this place, loved what you're doing. The mention of his late wife no longer brought pain, just a gentle acknowledgement of a life well lived and still honored. Gabriel had gradually found ways to keep Zoe's memory alive for the twins while making space for new joy in their lives. I have something for you, Gabriel said, reaching into his pocket. Actually, we all do. The twins appeared beside him, practically bouncing with excitement. Can we tell her now? Lily asked impatiently. Please, Dad, Leo added. We've been waiting forever. Gabriel laughed. Go ahead. We're going to be a real family, Lily burst out. Dad's going to ask you to marry him, Leo explained more practically. Leo, Gabriel groaned. That was supposed to be my line. Amara looked between the three of them, her heart full to bursting. Is that true? Gabriel pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, suddenly looking nervous despite the fact that the surprise had been thoroughly spoiled. I had a whole speech planned for after the twins' graduation ceremony this afternoon. But since the secret's out, he opened the box to reveal a stunning emerald ring. Amara Johnson, will you marry us, all three of us? Yes, Amara said without hesitation. Yes, to all three of you. As Gabriel slipped the ring onto her finger, the twins cheered and threw their arms around both adults, creating a family huddle right there in the corner of Amara's new health center. Later that day, as they watched the twins receive their elementary school diplomas, Gabriel leaned over to whisper in Amara's ear. Thank you. For saying yes? Amara asked with a smile. For everything, Gabriel clarified. For not giving up on us when we were at our worst. For showing us how to live again. On stage, Leo and Lily stood tall in their graduation outfits, searching the audience until they spotted Gabriel and Amara. They waved excitedly, pointing to Amara's hand where her new ring caught the light. That evening, as they celebrated with a family dinner at home, Amara looked around the table at the faces of the people who had become her family. The twins were arguing good-naturedly about who would get to be the ring-bearer or flower girl at the wedding. Gabriel was opening a bottle of champagne, his face more relaxed and happy than it had been when she first met him. This wasn't the life Amara had planned for herself when she was in nursing school. It was messier, more complicated, and infinitely richer than anything she could have imagined. She had found her purpose not just in her work at the clinic, but in the love she'd both given and received in this once broken home. As if reading her thoughts, Gabriel raised his glass in a toast. "To unexpected journeys," he said, his eyes meeting Amara's with a depth of understanding that still took her breath away. "And to family," Amara added, including the twins in her gaze. "In all, its beautiful, complicated forms." The twins clinked their juice glasses solemnly against the adults' champagne flutes, and in that moment, Amara knew with absolute certainty that some endings were really beginnings in disguise. What had started as a temporary job had become a permanent home, not just for her, but for the love and healing they had all found together.